weekend in the shop, getting ready to lower the car down so we can make some room. I've got it shoved over in the corner here, and I'm going to try to make a little more space. Got a little bit of slack in my power cord, which is, if you can see it or not. Yeah, a little bit up there. Anyway, got a little bit of slack up there. As it comes down, the power is mounted permanent to the box there on the corner of that post. I've got power and then air coming into the backside. These bend packs, if you're familiar, have air-powered safety releases. So all good, but you have to have air, which is sometimes not super convenient. All right, let's see if I can't drag this around a little bit. This will actually give me an opportunity to walk around the car at a lower height so you can see it a little bit differently. There's all the work we've been up to. A little better shot of, so there's the quarter with the additional quarter skin off of it. There's a little bit of remnant of this previous quarter skin they had welded right at the body line. So that body line, unfortunately, in this quarter, even if you wanted to patch it, is pretty well gone. And there's the shot I've never really shown, I suppose, is a fiberglass hood sitting on top of just an old flat hood underneath it. So, good bumper, good grill. Needs a little tune-up with paint and a little bit of resto work. The back glass sitting there, just praying not to have something fall on it. And up top here, they're upside down, but these are good GTS door cards, sills, etc. All the interior trim. Good safe place to keep it, but these door cards are good and dry. Original GTS emblem on them, all that good stuff. And just a different shot of inside. But we're getting ready to cut that floor out. That'll be the next step. I'm going to cut this floor out and also run to the other side. I'm going to cut this quarter off. Actually have new quarters for the car showing up this week. Apparently they're in town per the shipper, but not at my house yet. So I'm going to start by cutting this quarter skin, which is still here. You can't see it, but there's a pretty good bump here and a weld seam underneath. And that old body line is right in there. See where it hits the door? That's the body line is right there. So there's a couple, and it's there, but it's not the right shape for the factory, and sticks out an extra, 1/8 of an inch or so. Anyway, we'll get that cut off, and then we'll get inside and start cutting that floor pan out. Hopefully be able to get all the pan work done this week. It's Sunday. We'll see what we get done. Maybe just a little demo, if you will, and then start working towards the other side. I've got the rockers in those two boxes there. I've already shown the front floor pan, and these are the footwell pans, the two-piece little pans that go in between the front floor pan and the big seat pan. What else is in there? We got some rocker end caps, and then the electric wire covers that go along in the front floor pan. Well, 1320 popped on. There we go. A little better with no TV volume there. All right, so we'll get back to it. All right, here's a real quick close-up of why I'm cutting that outer skin off, really just to make sure I understand the way the actual quarter is going to come apart once I get up, and I'll of course take the full quarter up at the seam that's up in this area. Once I get that, unfortunately, that old vinyl top, I'm not a big fan of vinyl tops, but as far as they go, that's the original one and it's perfect. There's no rust underneath it, but there's a good chance that I'm not going to put it back on. If someone else wanted to make it original, they always could at some other point in the future. That's a good thing about those. But here's the quarter skin. So this whole piece there, there's the other half of it still in place, but the whole quarter's underneath there. You're just doubling up on all the weight. Of course, they covered up the 68 marker light there, so that was covered up with nothing there. Actually, when I got it, even the gas cap had a spot welded on cap on it because it had a fuel cell in the back. So anyway, a lot of extra weight for no real reason. There is definitely rust in the original quarter down in this area here, but they really could have just fixed the quarters. They're not bad at all. They're very solid, but for the bottom, which not really big on weird patches, but for that little bit, probably could have done it pretty easily. Anyway, this is all, but this was all cut out behind there. When they put the wheel tubs in, you see a rivet right there. They were all riveted on in the big arch there, and then the front of this quarter skin was cut out with the original quarter back in there. Once the 33 wanted to fit in there, there's not enough room in the front of a Dart wheelhouse. So anyway, a little close-up of the mess that was made. This is a maroon car originally, and I don't think that's the original paint, but just for fun, polish that up, see if it actually comes out. It's so flat it looks like primer, but it's also very maroon looking. So I'll get to getting the rest of this cut off there, and then we'll move on to getting the floor pan cut out. Hopefully later this week or next weekend I'll start cutting quarters off for real once the new ones get here. Here's the last little bit of the front part of the quarter skin overlay, which again doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a lot of, I don't know, you know, that's 5 to 8 pounds right there. Think about both of these quarters were skinned like this on each side. Both rockers are skinned like that. With you know, most of the original metal underneath it. This is where they've cut out. Like I said, I assume there was some rust here, maybe when they first did it, but at any rate, mainly cut that area out for the tub work that was done prior. So we've got that weight off, and we'll put the new quarters on. And in the meantime, this will, as I was test fitting the wheel houses with that lip in there, it was a little tough to get everything figured out. So I'll end up cutting this out just a little bit more so I can fit those. I don't want to mess with any of the structure yet. Even though I've got the frame in, I'd like to get those up in there and at least screwed into the inner structure before I start moving the car around too much. I don't think it'll, I don't think at this point with the frame in there that it'll move it all, but we'll be cautious. All right. Okay, now with the quarter cut apart a little bit better, I'm going to get in here and start cutting on this floor pan. So what I'm going to start with is from the bottom, I'm just going to cut right around these seat reinforcement brackets. So there's a couple of those up in there. And then, of course, the torsion bar cross member. I'll cut right along that. And then just along the edges and around those brackets so I can see from up top. So I don't want to cut through anything. I'll come along both sides of the frame. And then also give myself a couple of witness marks up top here. There's the seam to the firewall. So I'll cut along in several different areas so I can see from up top so I don't get through anything I shouldn't. And then we'll trim up the rest of it from up top. All right, well, there's the first part. Still got to get the front part. We've got an easy witness mark on the seam, the actual seam. It's visible top and bottom, but missed all the seat brackets on these two. The other side. Now we're also getting a little better reveal on the rockers there. It may not be real evident, but they're in pretty good shape. There's a couple spots right in there. One was the air chisel damage on the back there, and then the front there is right where the rockers seam. Must collect a little extra garbage. So a little rust there. Back around on this side. If I can get there. Yeah, it's not too bad, but a little bit similar in this same spot there. So we'll take care of that. But get ready to get that front pan in here real quick. So I'm gonna finish cutting that out off camera, and then we'll go from there. Well, we got most of the front of the pan out. Glad I did take the entire pan out instead of just piecing it in. Reminder that the insides of these cross members, so the torsion bar cross member, while it's solid, there's plenty of dirt and rust and other remnants in there. So good to be able to take these, get the tops off them, and there's a mouse nest in that front frame rail right there. Just better to get a good look at it. Tough light, I guess. Anyway, that's all we're going to get done today. Turns out there's a football game on, apparently, Super Bowl Sunday. So we'll go check that out for a while, and in the meantime, let this simmer. Get towards putting the pan in here shortly. Thanks again for watching.